Excuse me. Hey guys, welcome to Pick Up the Truth. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I thought I'd do something different for y'all instead of talking about the mind boggling programming that we're deprogramming from. We're going to talk about some of the positive things we can do in nature if we ever have to. Some survival tips in case one of these days the electricity goes out and people find themselves doing without what the system provides them. They're always able to rely on the knowledge that they've been taught. So we're going to see if we can't learn something good in nature that helps each and every one of us, and something good we can teach our children and our friends and our loved ones, and just a way we can have fun and practice in nature. Go out and try to find the items that you need to build a fire, and just see if you can accomplish and achieve building a fire in nature from just what nature provides. Some fun we can have with our loved ones, and also a challenge for us as well. So we're going to get in it and see what this gentleman has to teach us. Let's begin. Maybe. Give it a second.
Hey everybody, Jeff Williams here with AskJeffWilliams.com.
Uh-oh. Looks like we have a little buffering going on. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
Fire with only a couple pieces of wood. Now, remember when you were a little boy or girl in the Boy Scouts and they taught you, you get two pieces of wood and rub it together, you can start a fire anywhere. Well, I can assure you that don't work.
I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't having any problem whatsoever.
There is a thing called a bow drill, and it does use a couple pieces of wood, but not like this. So, I'm going to teach you how to use a bow drill out in the wild, so you can start your own fire anytime you want, anywhere you want, as long as you got a couple pieces of wood. But first, you're going to need to get your fire pit ready. So, first thing you want to do is set up your fire pit. Got your classic teepee with all the little kindling, and you got some dry grass in there and some rocks to keep the flames in. Quite typical. So, get this set up first, and then we're going to move on to the drill. Okay, so first thing you want to do is build the drill, or the bow I should say. Okay, now, a bow is going to typically look like this. Now, the piece of wood that you choose is going to have a little bit of a curve in it already. That way it'll make it easier when you go to put your string across there for it to curve even further when you tie it up. And you got to remember, you want something that has a little bit of play in it. You don't want a big old honking piece of wood like this, because I can assure you it ain't going to bend. And you don't want something dry like this, because it's going to break. So, what you're going to want to do is get one that's about the size of your thumb, depending on who you are, and make sure it's got some give in it. Now, if you're out in the wild and you don't have a string to play with, you can do what we did. I took my boot off, took the boot string out. This is my boot string, in case you're wondering. And we tied it up here along this stick. And it's already got a natural curve into it. And we got a little bit of...
And in case you're out in Mother Nature and you don't have a boot string, you're wearing sandals or you're barefooted, or you're just wearing a pair of shoes that don't have that long of a shoestring, you can always find a long strip of maybe palm leaves or some vegetation that's long enough and strong enough to handle the movement of the stick that you're going to be spinning it with.
Tightness in there, so it'll hold onto the spindle. Next thing you want to do is, from the tree, you're going to pull off a piece of wood about the size of your thumb, carve it down, about 6 to 8 inches long, and you're going to round the tip off on one end and then put a point on the other. One's going to be for starting a fire, and one's going to be for spinning around in the spindle block. Next, you need a spindle block. You can use a rock with a hole in it, or, like we're going to use today, kind of cheating, is we're going to use a piece of wood with a hole in it to make it easier. So once you get all that together, I'll show you what else you're going to need. So let's go. Okay, so we've got our bow, we've got our spindle, and we got our spindle block. What are we missing? Well, right now, we're going to need a piece of wood for that spindle block to go into. That's what this guy's for. The spindle block's going to be sitting there grinding away in there, getting those embers out. What you want to do, make sure you don't forget this, is you're going to want to take your pocket knife or whatever you got, and you're going to cut a little itty-bitty notch out of each little hole. I've got 3 already set up there. And that notch should be about the size of your pinky, and that's where the embers are going to collect, right inside that notch. If you don't have a notch, the embers are going to sit around the top and cool down, and you'll never get a fire going. So, make sure you got a notch in there. Okay, next, you got to have something to catch the embers with. Nice flat piece of wood like that, maybe even a leaf would work. And that's going to sit underneath there, and when the embers all fill up in that little split that you created, about the size of your pinky, you're going to see it, and you're going to pull that little guy out. That's what's going to start your fire. But where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in this guy right here. This is called a tinder bundle. Very important. You want it nicely tight, bound together. You can see where we used a couple palm leaves here to tighten it all up. You want to poke a hole right in the middle, create like a bird's nest. And that's where your ember's going to go. Once it's in there, you close it up like a clam, and you blow and blow and blow till you pass out. Eventually, the embers will catch the rest of the surrounding grass on fire, and if you're lucky, it'll reach flash point, and you're in business. So, how does this thing work? Well, I'm going to try to show you. First thing you want to do, put down your piece of wood. That already has a notch cut out into it. You're going to put this guy on the bottom. Let me clear this out for you. This is going to catch the embers, remember? Put him over there just like that. Take your non-dominant foot, which in my case is my left foot. You're going to rest all your weight on top of it so it doesn't move around. You're going to take your bow and your spindle, and you're going to wind that thing up inside of that real quick, just like that. Now be careful, it's going to want to bounce out of there. See how that's sitting in there? I can feel that wanting to come out of there, but don't let it go. All right, you're going to stick it right down in there. Take your spindle block, put that right up on top like that. All right, now, you're going to lean forward and you're going to rest that hand that's holding the spindle block all the way up against the shin there. That's going to keep that spindle block from moving around in there. Because if it moves around, guess what? You ain't going to be able to get it fast enough to create enough.
Now, I want you to notice the notches he was talking about. Now, he's got the pilot stick, or the stick that they call the drill. he's got the drill in the hole, and then the notches are cut into the hole so the hot embers can collect in those notches. And that's what he was trying to explain. And also, instead of using the bow drill that he built with the stick and the shoestring, you can also find a stick long enough to where you can use it as a hand drill as well, instead of having the bow drill. And if you're going to use a stick long enough to use for a hand drill, which you can spin in between the palms of your hands, not between your fingers, but you can spin it in between the palms of your hands in a downward motion. And every time your hands spin downwards, you bring them back up quick enough to where you can keep spinning the stick.
Ember. Alright, so you're going to start off slow until you get a good feel for it. Like such. Nice and easy.
Notice he's putting downward pressure.
Then you lay on all the power you got until you get that little teeny split filled up with enough ember. So here we go. Okay, I got a little bit of smoke. Now I'm really gonna lay it on. Here we go. See all that smoke? Okay. You want to be careful with that ember. Don't freak out now.
Now, you don't have to be in a hurry to put the hot embers into the Kindle that you have ready for it, because it can stay in that ember state for at least 5 minutes. So you don't have to be in a big hurry to just be careful with it and put it where it needs to go. Now he's blowing on it, and a good idea, instead of using all the wind in your lungs,
Now this is where you got to blow a lot.
You can also fan it around with your hands back and forth, and then blow, fan it around, blow, fan it around, blow. It would be quicker.
Smoky, right?
Eventually it's going to heat up enough to create flames.
Wow.
Almost. Pretty cool house on the brink. Almost.
voila, fire. Took a little longer than I expected. There you go. Woo! See, you're trying to get that flash point going. And there you have it. And that's how you create a fire using a bow drill. It's really easy, simple if you know what you're doing. But sometimes it can get a little smoky and take your breath away. So, until next time, this is Jeff Williams with AskJeffWilliams.com saying be safe with your fire.
All right. There you go. I hope you all learned some valuable information on how to start a fire if you find yourself out in nature and you need to stay warm, or you find yourself needing to cook something to prepare something to eat. It's good information to have, good thing to practice with your loved ones and have fun with. You guys take care and stay safe out there.